Hello everyone! Today we're going to solve a new LeetCode problem from Daily Challenges, number 763, Partition Labels. So let's dive into the description to get to know it better. So we are given a string S and we want to partition the string into as many parts as possible so that each letter appears in at most one part, and here it goes confusing. Yeah, and they provide kind of example of the string ABABCC, and it's kind of can be partition ABABCC, and partitions such as ABA or BCC or ABAB and CC are invalid. And for me, it's kind of more understandable from this like test results where we take A, BB, and CCC, and we have an output 1, 2, 3. We have clear understanding that each string should have unique character that not will represent in other strings. It will be easier to understand. So also not part that when we concatenate this string back, it should result the same as S. And what asks to return a list of integers representing the size of these parts. As here, 1a, 2b, 3c, or for example, this longer one can be split into 3 parts, which first 9, second 7, and third 8. And here representative of that. And also a good example of S. I would say it's also a good example here. Whites wasn't able to split in a few parts, and it's kind of help us to understand the resolution of this. We look at the beginning, we have E. Look at the end, E is almost the last one there. Then we have understanding that we should split kind of like that. But the second element C and the last element C. And it's make it impossible to split, because split should, if we include AAC, then split should be here, which means entire string and not 10. So kind of idea here that goes, it's 2 pointers because we have like start and we have like end. We have like A and end of another A. We have B and end of another B, and we can cut them because they are not repeated in C3. And kind of hints also how less, because they recommend to use greedy approach, which provide that we should look for the most simple solution at the moment without needing to double check it. And they also kind of recommend to use HashMap by storm, for example, like last b equal 5, and it's kind of all that we need to know if we understand algorithms. And I found that it's the most important to get to know algorithm and not programming languages, because if you know algorithm, you will able to explain it in English, and if you're able to explain it in English, you will able to explain its code. So algorithm that we will use will be 2 pointers with help of HashMap and greedy. So let's start with the first thing, is to making our variables. We need to have result. Result will be a list of integers representing the size. So variables, let's start result, which will be equal length empty, and we need 2 pointers. So 2 pointers will have start and have an end, and it's, you know, arrays are 0 base, so we also start and end at 0. The second step, we will need HashMap, because the idea here is we need to check the last element, so last index, as here 0, and we kind of move to 8 element from 0 to this one, and we can use HashMap to connect key. We have key of E, and we have index, the last occurrence, and the last occurrence is here. Then by having these two parts, we will later on will be able to use greedy method to split this string if possible, and if not, just return the whole string as it is. So we will start with last index, and we will use Python library enemus index for index and char in enumerate s. Let's move it slightly here. HashMap with the last index of the character. For example, if we take, let's provide an example, better understanding of use HashMap. We will take the string that was given in description. So we have A. A will be our key. So A is key. And we look for index. First A is occurrence at 0. Then B occurs in 1. And last A occurs in 2. So A will be 2, the last index. And for example, we take B. B starts with 1 index, then 2 we skip, then the last occurrence is 3. Last index, and we see the first occurrence will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last will be 5. Yep, and the last will be C5. Easy. To understand this, how we will use HashMap. Now it's time for greedy approach. So we will iterate over the string, our string. We'll use for I, we will use index to calculate our position, and we will use character as a helping part to get what character we are checking at the moment. Use reduce. And in our case will be equal to max value because we're looking for last index. So we will use max in built-in function, which will use the values inside brackets to return the most of it. So for example, if last index is smaller, we will left as it is. If in a case like B, so we check a character, we get character A from this. And A has the last index of 2, our end 0, so we will update end to 2. So for example, I will add here, and for A will be 2. Now we will check second character B, and the last index of B 3, so we will update and for B to 3, and then we can make use of our index I to check it if we can split an array, because the main goal is to split an array and return it if it's possible. So we will use comparison, an if statement. If I compare it to end, and now they're the same, then we append result by ending end minus start, and the crucial part not to forget about that we should add 1 because it's array and it started 0, but we should return the number of all letters. And after that we will update our start, which will be equal I, also +1. And then we can return result. Let's run this. Code passes 1, 2, 3, and let's submit to check it. Untying complexity, that's quite good, bit 91 and 36. Yes, so the main point here is to better understand algorithms and help to coast to the solution in the way of brute force. You kind of try to explain it is the most easy way, and if you were able to explain in English, if you know kind of like this, you know, input, we have string s, it's our input. We have output, our output, a list of integer represented the size of these parts, and here you should clearly understand what it means. So if we have like here string s a b b c c c, and we can't understand that output should be 1 2 3, and if for example it's all a, we have like output 6, just 6 because 6 a's. And if you understand this, you can go through the logic, what we can do in this case to get this output with this input. And it's kind of help to use algorithms for that. And then language, what you use, it's kind of your choice. Right? Thank you for listening. If you have any question or recommendations, feel free to leave them down below in comments. Have a nice day. Bye.